What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and you're watching the B1KER Bar Podcast. Tell me why you like working with REEB, dude.
I like working with REEB because I've been riding professionally for 23 years, and I've never really had the opportunity to have so much input in a brand like I do with REEB. The signature hardtail that I came out with this past year was something that happened within like 6 to 8 months, which working for like a larger bike brand would be impossible.
Yeah.
You know, they can't even prototype something in 6 to 8 months if you're building stuff overseas.
Yeah.
But when you're building it in the US, it's lean and mean, and you could prototype and try a couple different versions and just bring it to market pretty quick. So that's been pretty awesome. It's super, super risky and nerve-wracking. Like when you work with such a small brand. When I stopped riding for Giant, you know, when you work with a company that big, they're going to sell bikes regardless.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really hard to tell whether or not you move the needle or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, you might sell a handful of Giants, but it's not going to affect their bottom line or whatever.
Right. Right.
And with a company like REEB, like we came close to doubling their sales last year. And it's just a combination of a really strong PR effort last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully me helping a little bit, and then them always for the past 8 years making awesome bikes.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident.
It wasn't like I
wouldn't know who they are if that wasn't for you. So, I mean, I would imagine there's a lot of people on YouTube that are the same way.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, they've always made awesome products. So that's
totally.
That's the most important thing because, you know, if it was a brand that made garbage, you're not going to just.
I was pretty impressed when I saw their bikes at Sedona. I had never seen one before that when I came over to the tent, and it was like, this thing's dialed. Yeah,
they make really, really, really good high quality stuff. And so when I first started riding for them, the two most common responses were I've never heard of them, or I have heard of them and they make good stuff. But it was never like, if you picked any of the large manufacturers, they're going to be polarizing. There's, you know, whether it's Trek, Giant, Specialized, anybody.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to say it sucks. Somebody's going to say it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
But with REEB, it was like, I've never heard of them, or they make good stuff. But
yeah.
No negative feedback.
That's good.
Like, so it was pretty sweet.
Is there anything like that really stands out with like their warranty or anything like that? That like, what would be the reason that you would tell somebody to get a REEB?
I would tell somebody to buy a REEB for, you know, if you're looking for a gravel bike or a hardtail, you're buying a custom bike. So special geometry, custom geometry, super simple. It's something that we do all the time. With the suspension bikes, it's something we could do custom geometry on suspension bikes as well. It's just a little bit more difficult, but we spent a ton of time listening to riders and being riders ourselves, which is something super, super funny. Like when I rode for Giant, somebody would say like, do you really think the Giant is a good bike? And it was a pretty decent bike, but I didn't design it, or I didn't have anything to do with it. And with REEB, like if somebody says like, is that REEB really a good bike? I'm like, it is. And if it's not, I don't have anybody to blame but myself, because it truly is like Tim and Adam and and myself and Sam, like we design bikes and we all collaborate on it. So if it sucks, we have nobody to blame but ourselves. Like it's stuff that we genuinely like. And we'll go back and forth like, hey, I really think the seat should be a degree steeper. What do you think? Okay. Prototype it, try it. Okay.
Yeah.
So the awesome thing with the suspension bikes is everything's handmade in Colorado. The tolerances and the craftsmanship are super tight, which definitely leads to better long-term performance. You don't wear out bushings. You don't wear out shocks. You'd be amazed when you buy stuff from overseas. Like, you know, people might think if a shock wears out that the shock was bad. A lot of times it's because the frame's completely out of alignment or something like that.
Oh
yeah. You could engrave a bike any way you want it. You could paint a bike any way you want it. So it's kind of cool. Like when you're on the trail, you're not going to show up to a group ride and somebody's going to have the same cookie cutter YT or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You're buying something special, you know. And they ride awesome.
Yeah,
I honestly think it's the best bike I've ever ridden.
Right on, dude.
And I'm not just saying that. So
yeah. If you like that, make sure you check out the full episode. And hey, do me a favor, before you take off, hit the like and subscribe.